Being broke can drop your IQ by 13 points, not an insult. A lab actually measured it. The same brain gets measurably dumber when the bank account runs dry, and people still say the broke are just bad with money. But scientists tested the exact same people twice. Once broke, once paid, and the paid version scored like a different human being. Same person, a few months apart. The only thing that changed was the money. So maybe being broke isn't proof you're bad with money. And stay till the end. There's one money skill broke people actually beat rich people at. It flips the whole story. The lie we all swallowed. We've all been fed the same story. If you're broke, it's on you. You made bad choices. You bought the sneakers instead of saving. You didn't budget. You didn't plan, fix your decisions, and you'd fix your bank account. It sounds obvious. It feels true. It might be the most expensive lie you've ever believed because a team of scientists flipped the whole thing around. They asked a different question. What if broke people don't make bad decisions because something's wrong with them? What if being broke does something to the brain that makes bad decisions almost automatic? What if poverty isn't the result of bad thinking? What if it's the cause? And to figure out which way that arrow actually points, they did something you can't unsee. They went to a sugarcane field. The farmers who got smarter after payday. Picture a sugarcane farmer in India. He gets paid once a year. When the harvest comes in, he collects almost his entire income in one shot. So his whole life runs on a cycle. Right before harvest, he's broke. Bills stacking up, borrowing money, stressed, waiting. Right after harvest, he's flush. Same man, same fields, same brain. Just two completely different bank balances a few months apart. So the researchers did something clever. They tested the same 464 farmers twice. Once before harvest when they were poor, once after when they were rich. Same thinking tests both times. And the results were kind of disturbing. Before harvest, when money was tight, the farmers scored significantly worse. On problem solving, on focus, on the raw thinking power you use to make a good decision. After harvest, when the pressure lifted, the same guys scored better. We're talking the equivalent of about 13 IQ points. Some of the scientists compared it to pulling an all-nighter. So imagine trying to run your whole financial life on zero sleep. Every single day. That's what being broke was doing to them. Their pockets were empty, but so was something in their head. Now maybe you're thinking, okay, farmers in a field, that's not me. Fair. So they ran it on people who look a lot more like you and me. In a shopping mall. Your brain has memory and money is eating it. A mall in New Jersey, regular shoppers. They pulled people aside and gave them a quick scenario. Imagine your car breaks down and needs a repair. For half the people, the repair cost $150. For the other half, $1,500. Then, right after, they gave everybody the same thinking test. The people with money, the size of the repair didn't matter. They scored the same either way. But the people who were already struggling, the second that number jumped to 1,500, their scores dropped. Just thinking about a bill they couldn't cover made them measurably worse at thinking. In a mall, in 2 minutes, over a hypothetical car that didn't even exist. Here's why. Think of your brain like a phone. You've got a set amount of memory, quietly running everything in the background. Now, picture one app that never closes. Always open, always running, always draining the battery. The money app. Will I make it? Can I cover this? What happens if the car actually dies? When you're broke, that app never shuts off. You're standing in line at the store and half your mind is doing math you can't win. You're at dinner with your kid and part of you is somewhere else, counting. The scientists gave it a name, the bandwidth tax. Being broke charges a tax on your brain and it collects every second, whether you feel it or not. So when the moment finally comes to make a smart money move, you don't show up with a full mind. You show up with whatever's left after the tax, and you don't need a lab to prove that number. You pay it on an ordinary Tuesday. What the tax actually feels like. Let me show you what this tax feels like, because you've probably lived it. It's Tuesday. You wake up, and before your feet even hit the floor, the math starts. Rent's in 9 days. You've got enough if nothing goes wrong. Big if. At work, you're staring at the screen, but you're not really there. Somebody asks you a question twice. You snap a little. You're not a bad person. You're just running that app in the background and it's eating your patience. Lunch comes. Your coworker orders without thinking about it. You're doing quiet math on a sandwich. Then you feel stupid for doing math on a sandwich. Drive home and the check engine light flickers. Your stomach drops. Not now. Please not now. You turn the radio up like that makes it not real. That night, you can't sleep. Because the one time your brain finally has a little space, all it wants to do is run the numbers again. None of that showed up on a test. Nobody measured it. But it was there all day, quietly taxing every decision you made. And then somebody looks at your bank account and says, you're just bad with money. You weren't bad with money. You were exhausted from carrying it around in your head all day, but the tax is only half of it. There's a second thing scarcity does to you, and this is where it stops being a tax and turns into a trap. Tunnel vision. That's the setup. Here's where it gets worse. Scarcity doesn't just drain your brain, it aims it. When you're short on money, your mind zooms all the way in on the emergency right in front of you. This week's bills, this one fire. And for a minute, that tunnel is almost a superpower. You get razor sharp on the crisis. You find the money somehow. You make it to Friday. But here's the cost. While you're locked in that tunnel, everything outside of it disappears. Next month, the oil change that would have saved the engine, the appointment, the paperwork, the plan. Not because you don't care, because the tunnel literally hides it from you. And this is where the trap snaps shut. Tunneling makes you grab whatever solves today, even when it wrecks tomorrow. The payday loan with the insane interest. The credit card, borrowing from next week just to survive this one. It feels smart inside the tunnel. It's a disaster outside of it, and every time you do it, next month gets a little tighter, the tunnel gets a little narrower, and you slip a little further behind. That's not a character flaw. That's a machine. Scientists literally call it the scarcity trap. So by now, it sounds like being broke just wrecks your brain across the board. Dumber at everything, except that's the twist I promised you at the start. Because on one specific thing, broke people don't lose to rich people. They crush them. Crush the one thing broke people do better. Here it is. When it comes to knowing what a dollar is actually worth, broke people are sharper than rich people. Not a little, a lot. There's research on this too. All those little marketing tricks, the fake discount, the was 80, now 60, the way a store frames a price just to mess with your head. They work better on people with money because when you're broke, $50 is $50. You know exactly what it buys. You feel it in your chest. You can't be fooled about the value of a dollar when every single dollar matters that much. So sit with that for a second. Scarcity doesn't make you stupid. It makes you a laser, dead sharp on survival, on this dollar, on today, and foggy on everything else. The future, the plan, the big picture. The tax was never on your intelligence. It was on your attention, which changes the whole question. If the problem was never your brain, then grinding harder and hating yourself was never the fix. So what actually gets you out? The way out nobody sells you. First, drop the shame. If you look back at moves you made when you were broke, and they make no sense now, that wasn't you being weak or dumb. That was a brain running under a tax you didn't even know you were paying. Forgive the broke version of you. He was solving a harder problem than the version of you looking back on it. Second, understand what actually separates rich from broke. It's not brains, it's slack, room for error. When someone with money gets a surprise $1,500 bill, it's an annoying Tuesday. When you get it, it's a crisis that eats your brain for a month. Same bill, totally different weight. So the goal isn't to grind harder while your mind is already taxed to the limit. The goal is to build even a little slack, a tiny buffer between you and the next emergency, and to take decisions off your plate so they stop running in the background. Automate the one bill you always stress about. Set it and forget it. Every single worry you can shut down hands you back a piece of your own brain. Because you don't need more willpower. You've had willpower this whole time. You need less running in the background. And the wildest part of all this? The system kind of likes you busy. A mind that's always underwater, always doing math, always stuck in the tunnel, is a mind that can't stop and plan its way out. That's not an accident. That's the trap working exactly how it's built to. But traps only work when you can't see them. And you just saw this one. So the next time somebody says, broke people are just bad with money, you'll know the truth. It's backwards. Being broke is the tax. And the first step out is knowing you've been paying it this whole time. If this one hit different, you already know what to do. Stick around. We break down the invisible stuff running your money one video at a time. Real talk. As soon as you close this, your brain going to try to spend money you don't even have. That's not you being broke. That's broke software running the show. So subscribe, pull up to the next one, and let's keep fixing the wiring, because you're not bad with money. Your brain is. Now go prove it wrong.